The real glow up is self-acceptance. So if you're ready to go on a journey of purely accepting yourself, having some self-compassion, and just radically loving yourself, then keep watching this video. Because glowing up is not about just what's going on in the external. The external is always going to reflect the internal. So we want to make sure that most of our focus is what's going on within. And this is why people can glow up without looking a certain way. There's not an image of what a glow up is. I know that we've been conditioned because of what we see on social media, and I'm sorry about these levels if they sound kind of crazy, but I know we've been conditioned based on what we see on social media to associate glowing up with what's happening in the external. So we see somebody go from being overweight to having a weight loss. They grew up. They started working on their appearance. They learn how to do their makeup, learn how to do their hair. They grew up. They're making more money. They grew up. Just we're constantly basing the glow up on the external. Now, again, the external is a reflection of what's going on within. Sometimes, right? Everything is not black and white. This is a very nuanced topic, and I feel like there's not enough nuance being offered to these conversations that we just go, well, your external is a reflection of what's going on within. You have to understand that what we deem as successful, attractive, winning in life is just an opinion. It's not based in facts and the facts of reality. So when we're talking about glowing up, you have to understand that you define what that means, and that's the real glow up. This is why you can see people who who are overweight, who are not what would be deemed conventionally societally attractive, who may be living in poverty, who are, not poverty, but they're not living a lifestyle that people will look at and envy. Because I feel like a lot of times we want to have lives that other people can look at and envy. So they're not living these lives, but because they have found self-acceptance and self-love, they have grown up. And that's what glowing up is all about. And that's how you are going to glow up. You're going to stop focusing on what's going on out here. Leave that alone just for a little while. We're going to put it on a shelf and slip it away just for a little while. And we're going to really dive deep into what's going on with him. Let's talk about, why do looks even matter? Why is it that we associate glow up with what's going on externally? And that's exactly why. It's because we can prove to somebody else that, look, I did glow up, because you can see it, right? We heavily judge people based off of their appearances, and that's just how we are. I think because we are such social creatures, it is imperative that we are accepted by our culture, by the society, because of, based on, history, hunter-gatherer days, we needed each other. We still do, even though we act like we don't, but we need each other. We needed each other back then as well. So we needed to be accepted so we don't get left and killed off, right? We have to travel in packs. We're stronger together than we are apart. So we literally need each other in order to survive. And even still today, we are constantly always in some type of social interaction. Now we have social media. It may not be as authentic as genuine social interaction, but it's still social interaction nonetheless. And we're still always judging people based off of their appearances, because social media is all about appearances. It's really hard to explore the depths of someone based on social media, because it's usually really quick images or really quick videos. I would say most people have a hard time watching long form videos because of the attention span and because of how we are consuming each other now. So now the judgments are even quicker. So this makes a lot of sense why the glow ups would be seen to be something that's happening on an external basis, because we know how quickly we are to judge each other. And we know that in order to have really glown up, that other people have to notice it. And they have to notice it first with their eyes. So that is why we feel like the external is what's important, and why we need to make sure that all of our goals are about getting other people to acknowledge and to see us as winning, as glowed up. But I want to let you know that that's not the case. Because think about this. Have you ever met somebody, and I've had the same experience, that was overweight, or they didn't grow up all that attractive, or they didn't, grow up in the best circumstances, and then all of a sudden they experienced an external glow up. So they lost the weight. They went on a weight loss journey. They started to look better. They're more attractive. They're starting to attract more mates. They changed their circumstances and their lifestyle. But for some reason, they're still deeply insecure. From the outside, they can post a picture and they're like, I have glowed up. Like, look at me from 5 years ago. Look at me today. My life is completely different. I'm up. But internally, they are still deeply insecure. And they feel as if they are not worth anything. Uh-oh, the baby's up. One moment. Okay, she wasn't up. She was just making noise. But I was just saying that externally, it looks like they've grown up, but they're still deeply insecure. They still feel like they don't have any worth. And that's because they never really worked on radical self-acceptance. They never really worked on really loving themselves. And I feel like when you come from that space, you'll start to question a lot of the things that you think you desire. A lot of these things that attribute to a glow up, you start to question, is that even about the individual, or is it about how the individual is perceived? Even understanding that being perceived is important, and we all should care about how we're perceived to a certain extent. I'm not sitting here saying don't care about how nobody feel about you. Like, that would be naive to think that you could even exist in the world in that way. I mean, I'm sure you can, but depending on what you want to do, there's a certain level of acceptance that you need with anything. Like with me creating content, I do care about what you guys think about me. I want to make sure that I'm providing you guys with helpful content, useful content. I care if you guys think that I'm being kind or rude, or like that the message is coming across clear. Like, there's a certain aspect of I care about what you guys think about me, because you are rewarding me with watching this. Right? And that is a reward, to know that I'm sitting here in my living room making content and there's somebody out there watching it. That's very rewarding. And with that to happen, there has to be a certain level of acceptance. And in order for there to be a certain level of acceptance, I have to make sure that you guys care about me. So I have to care about what you think, at least a little bit. So again, I just went on that whole spiel to say that it does matter. So the real glow up is self-acceptance. So like, y'all not going to agree with everything I say and everything that I do, but I have a certain level of self-acceptance, self-love, self-compassion that I don't really give a damn. That was EK chord for real. But yeah, I don't really care, because I'm coming from that level. So there's a beautiful balance between caring and not caring. So I'm not just telling y'all not to care. That's what that whole spiel is about. But I just want to just reiterate and really put into y'all heads that it's not about the external. It's about the glow up is about going within. Because what society deems as successful may not be what you deem as successful. What society deems as beautiful and attractive may not be what you deem as beautiful and attractive. Because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Is this true? Is beauty truly in the eye of the beholder? And I feel like when you're coming from a place of wholeness, of love, you literally see beauty in everything. But when you come from a place of, and when you're heavily conditioned by society and the culture, that's when, like, and this may be an unpopular opinion, but I feel like preferences form when you are deeply influenced by society and culture. And I'm not saying there's anything right or wrong about it. I'm just saying that that's what it is. Preferences come up when there's a deep influence by society and culture. When you start to back away or break away from, I don't want to say sheep thinking, because it sounds as if I'm condemning this, when there's nothing wrong or right about it. But when you break away from thinking like the collective, your preferences start to widen. you start to see way more things as beautiful and attractive. So that's why beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder, because what one society deems as beautiful, another society may see it as not, right? It's all about the culture. So same thing goes with what's successful. The same thing goes for what constitutes a glow up. So this is why you have to go within, and you have to really know thyself so that you can experience the true glow up. And the true glow up is knowing thyself. Now let's talk about self-awareness. Self-awareness is important because you have to be aware of the societal conditioning that you have on you. So you can see that, do I even want, so you can start to ask the questions of, do I even want what society is telling me I should want? Do I even think what society says is successful? Like, are these true within me? Is this aligned with my true self, or am I just super conditioned? And you're going to find that you are super conditioned, and you're going to find that it takes a lot of self-awareness and a lot of reconditioning yourself to get out of it. And it's going to take years and years and years. Like, we're going to be on this path for a really long time, right? I'm still deconditioning myself, and I've been doing it for like the past 3 or 4 years. Like, seriously, 3 or 4 years deconditioning myself, and I feel like I'm nowhere near like getting out of it. I mean, I've come a long way, but there's still just so much within me that I'm like, damn, this is not even like how I really feel or how I think. This is something that I picked up on. And then the thing is because you're in society, because you're in the culture, you're going to continually pick up on things. And it's just like about using your discernment to decide if that resonates with you or not. So this is a process, and that is the real glow up. The real glow up is about even deciding to get on the journey, to start this process. Because it is a process, and it is going to take some work. But who you become by going on this process is beautiful, because you come to a deep self-acceptance. You come to a deep, radical self-acceptance. So let's talk about the solution. So let's talk about some practical, actionable steps you can apply to truly glowing up in your life. So we talked about self-awareness. Now, how can you start to practice more self-awareness? Mindfulness. Mindfulness is so important because it takes you out of your head and it puts you into the moment. And when you are constantly just being right here, and not being pulled into the past or the future, when you're just right here, what happens is that you get deeply in tune with your own inner guidance. And then you can start to feel what resonates and what doesn't. You can start to feel into, and again, this takes some work, because a lot of the time your feelings are still being influenced by the society, by culture. So it does take work. But to start off the practice is definitely going into mindfulness, is really being involved with the present moment, really being in tune with the present moment. So that's definitely what I would recommend, is practicing mindfulness. You can use the 5 sense technique, where you say, what are 5 things I can see? What are 4 things I can touch? What are 3 things I can smell? What are 2 things I can hear? What's 1 thing I can taste, right? And this is going to put you into what's happening right here, right now, and out of your head so much. And there are so many benefits to just being in the present moment. Another great way to start to glow up by self-acceptance, self-compassion, and self-love is self-inquiry. So the practice of self-inquiry is asking the question, who am I? Who is it that's aware of me talking right now? Who is it that hears? Who is it that's aware of your thoughts? This is a deeper level of spirituality, but it's one that I highly recommend, because it really puts you into touch with your true nature, which is inherently fulfilled and whole and lacks nothing. So this is like one of the best things you can do is start to practice self-inquiry, because you start to really shed the layers of who you think you are, and the true self, which is always here, ever present awareness, starts to shine more brighter in your experience. And with that, awareness shines with everything. Awareness is all accepting, all love. So when you can apply that to yourself by just recognizing that the small self, which is who you think you are, your name and your body, which is the limited self, it's just the appearance and what you actually are. It's one of the many appearances, but it's not who you are 100%. It really does give you this sense of just acceptance, just radical. I mean, the most radical self-acceptance for yourself and for others. And mindfulness, self-inquiry, and nervous system regulation. Y'all gonna hear me talking about this a lot. Regulating your nervous system, because a lot of times when we get into these spiritual practices, we work on them for a while, but then eventually we say, oh, this isn't working out for me, or we stop. And it's not the fact that it's not working out for us, it's just the fact that we don't feel safe in doing these practices. It starts to become a little uncomfortable, or we're bored with it, or whatever the feeling is that we don't like. We're like, well, I don't want to do the work that it takes to do it anymore. So then we run away from it. And really what that's about is the fact that we don't feel safe in our body. So we're constantly looking for things to stimulate ourselves so that we can feel good and safe in our bodies. And when you start to regulate your nervous system, it doesn't matter what emotions come. You can sit through it and just allow it to come and go without influencing what you already had going on that you were going to do. I hope that makes sense. So it's just important to practice regulating your nervous system. I would say through breath work. I would say breath work is really important, but anything that's going to move your body and that's just going to allow you to feel safe in your body when emotions come up. So EFT tapping is really good. I love EFT tapping. It's just about saying beliefs that you have and tapping on acupuncture points while saying these beliefs so that you can allow these stored energy pockets that we have within us to flow more fluently. Because that's all nervous system regulation is about. It's about, again, making sure that our body is in... like it's tuned like a tune-up, how you tune up a car. So making sure that our body is attuned to protect the, I don't want to say the consciousness is stored in the body, but it's just about making sure our body is a safe space to exist in while we're exploring all the different realms of life and what comes with just being a human and existing. So mindfulness, self-inquiry, nervous system work, and discipline. I know discipline isn't sexy, but in order to actually see these things make a difference in your life, you need to be disciplined with these practices. That's the real, and all of this again is the glow up, because when you are on this journey of pouring into deconditioning yourself, loving yourself regardless of if the world tells you should or not, because you're so flawed and you're not worthy, you're not worthy. The world is forever trying to tell us these things. To rebel against that is the real glow up. To say, this is how I look, this is what I make, this is who I am, and I still love myself, that's the real glow up. It's all about radical self-acceptance, self-love, and self-compassion. And that's the main thing I want you to have. Yes, be disciplined, but also have self-compassion, because you're not going to get it right all the time. You're going to have some really good days. You're going to have some really bad days. But you still have to show compassion to yourself for reacting the way that you are, for wanting what society tells you should want. Because there's nothing inherently good or bad about anything. It's just about deciding, what do you want? And really feeling like you are breaking free from the chains of what everybody else is telling you should want. So that's all I got. Thank you guys for bearing with me with this video. I know it was kind of all over the place, but yeah. And I wrote down everything too. I literally have everything written down and organized, but I don't know why. I'm just kind of like nervous right now for some reason. I make YouTube videos all the time, but I'm just a little nervous. So make sure you guys sign up for my email list down below so that you can stay up to date with vlogs here and there when I feel like it. I mean, blogs here and there when I feel like it. And also so you can stay up to date with, I have amazing products coming out, and if you want to work with me, then I'll be sending out information about that as well. So I love you guys, and I will be talking to you soon.